Hello, welcome to Yoga Center of Chico online class presentations. This is a series of classes that of a shorter duration that we're using to illuminate certain aspects of the practice. And today I've chosen lower back care for people. It's a common problem in yoga. A lot of people have it at some point in their life. And yoga can be a great solution to this problem that we have. But of course, if you've got a serious problem, I hope you have talked to your doctors and gotten some professional advice about it. But as far as yoga goes, we can work on a couple of levels. We want to certainly work on the level of awareness and finding out really what's going on with our back. Where is the weakness? Which side is short? Which side is long? Is it a herniated disc? Is it scoliosis? Is it any number of possible issues that might cause some discomfort or pain? It might be just general weakness. So yoga can help us bring some awareness to these areas, and it can start to put things back into place and strengthen where needed, lengthen where needed, and eventually get back to a pretty stable environment in the lower back. I've had lower back problems off and on my whole life, and yoga has pretty much solved that. So the first thing that we want to do is get into a position of comfort so we can relax the lower back, because that's the area that really, what happens is when you start to get a little tense or pain starts to happen, tension comes in. And this tension just oftentimes exasperates things. So the first thing that you want to do is get into a space of releasing and relaxing the lower back. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do that. So the first way is a fairly typical posture in yoga, child's pose. But I want to go into child's pose with support. So you start off with some height lengthwise out in front of you, and you take another blanket. Or folded towel works well here. You fold it a couple of times so that you have a long support like this. And you want this support to be on the front of the abdomen so that when you go over, it feels like you're supported in the lower back. And then you have your bolster or support out there, and you rest your forearms, and then just relax the lower back. Let the pelvis drop. Then put your hands underneath you and come on up. Go ahead and set your bolster to the side. Take your blanket and feel free to put the blanket down on the floor for comfort for your lower back. And you want to be on the floor. You want to have a belt close at hand. Okay, so lay back like so, with your back flat onto the floor. Now, at this time, I am contracting my abdomen and flattening my lower back onto the floor, and then letting my lower back relax, and flattening it on the floor and letting it relax. And it's a sort of a gentle flattening of the lower back and releasing it. And as you flatten the lower back upon the floor, move the pelvis towards the heels so you're lengthening. And just go back and forth rhythmically. Flatten and release, and flatten and release. Okay, good. Just relax there with your knees bent. Now let your lower back soften into the floor. Take your hands to the buttocks and pull the skin of the buttocks under towards the heels so that you've got length. Then grab behind the one knee and pull that thigh into your abdomen. Really as close in as possible. Relax the foot, relax the lower leg. Now, move the bent leg, hip away from you, towards the other heel, so that the length occurs on the bent leg side of the body. Then release and do the other leg. And grab behind that knee and pull it into the abdomen. And likewise, move that hip away and lengthen that side of the waist. At this point, the lower back should be relaxed and soft and long. Okay, good, release. Now, grab your belt. And from here, you're going to take your belt and belt your right foot and straighten the right leg towards the ceiling. Extend the left leg out in front of you. Now, don't pull the leg towards you. Keep the leg, the foot, on top of the hip. Do move the hip away and lengthen the side, the right side of the waist. Keep that space. Soften the jaw, relax the eyes, soften the senses, and breathe. Okay, bend both knees now, put both feet flat onto the floor. Belt behind the left foot. Straighten the left leg straight up and down. Extend the right leg out in front of you. Now move the outer left hip away from the left shoulder as you pull the leg to a vertical position. And breathe. And soften the face. And put your consciousness into the lower back and soften and release the lower back downward. Okay, release the belt. Set the belt to the side. Roll over to one side, put your hands on the floor, and push yourselves to a standing position. Okay. There should be a little bit more softness in the lower back. Now, we're going to try to extend and lengthen the lower back. So you're going to stand about a foot away from the wall, and you're going to put your hands on the wall. You're going to get up onto your tiptoes, and you're going to try to keep the hands as high as possible as you slowly extend and lengthen the heels downward. You'd like to get that extension, that length between the bottom rib cage and the top of the pelvis. And then contract your abdomen to keep it and push yourself away. Okay, let's get back onto our mats now, and we might want to lose the blanket. Now, this next one depends on you. You will either be in a small block position or a medium block position, or if either of those blocks are too much, too painful, or too uncomfortable, you can use the corner of a blanket like this. Okay. I'm going to use a block. You're going to start on your back with your knees bent. You're going to walk the feet in. You're going to pick up the pelvis and put the block under the middle of the sacrum. Not into the lower back, just under the pelvis. Then Tuck your shoulders under and just stay here for a little bit. Now, if your back is comfortable with it, extend one leg and then the other out in front of you. If it at any time bothers your lower back, go back to bent legs. From here, you have to be careful how you come out. If I were to pick up my pelvis, it would put a strain on the lower back. I take my hands to the block or blanket, and as I push the block or blanket away, I slowly lower my back to the floor. Then roll over to the side and sit up. This next posture is called Shalabhasana. It's basically a strengthening posture. So the first couple of postures we relaxed. The second posture, the second series, the posture was the extension, the length of the hands up the wall. The back bend is trying to put things back into place. And now Shalabhasana, which is a strengthening posture, is so that these new alignment can be stabilized with the strength of the muscles. Okay, this posture, Shalabhasana, is done prone with your abdomen on the floor. Feel free to use a blanket if you need to. Now, you're going to have different levels of back need depending on your own condition. So go easy here. Some of you might like the support of your hands and just to push the chest up a little bit. Some of you can put the hands behind you and lift the hands and arms off of the floor. Some of you can lift the legs off of the floor as well. Do the level that suits you. Okay, I'm going to start with my hands onto the floor. I tell you what, it's best if everybody does this. Put your hands on the floor like so. Now pull backwards and move your ribs forward. Extend your legs backwards. Again, get a sense of length here. Then, either keeping your hands on the floor or hands behind you, lift up. Lift up, but continually extend your pelvis away from the bottom rib cage. Good, release, come down. Okay, push yourselves up to a seated position. Now, I'm going to set up for Shavasana in a very relaxing way. You want to make sure that you're soft and relaxed. So I'm going to put a bolster behind my knees. I'm going to have a blanket for my head and neck. Now, it depends on you and your back, but I'm going to put some support under my lower back. And it doesn't need to be a lot of support. So I'll take a big blanket like this, make it super wide, and roll it up just about halfway. So it's a small roll. It's not a big roll. And then I'm going to put the remainder of the blanket under the buttock side of the equation. And I'm going to align this. Then, you want to make sure that this blanket is low enough. You don't want it really super high. Okay, you want to be able to relax your lower back on it. So then I go and I put the back of my knees on the bolster or a couple of blankets or a pillow. I put my hands onto the floor. Now, I want to maintain this quality of extension of the lower back. So I'll move the buttocks under towards the bolster. I'll go back onto my elbows, push my elbows down, extend and lengthen the rib cage away from the pelvis, and then slowly go down. I want to move this blanket so it's supporting my lower back. Then my neck as well as my head is supported, and my arms go to the side. And just relax, especially the lower back. If you need to, move the skin of the buttocks under so that the lower back lengthens, and let your arms go to the side. Relax. And then when you're ready, go ahead and open the eyes. Be careful when you come out. Make sure that you roll to the side and push your hands down to come out. Well, that's it. Namaste. I hope this little video has helped you, will help you with some lower back issues. And mostly just take care and keep it relaxed as much as you can. Thank you.